Hey there everyone, another video, another progress update. So I'm behind by 1 week, and as I mentioned in the previous video that I was working on something new, and I won't be going over that in this particular video, but the reason I'm behind by 1 week is the fact that in order to work on the new thing, I had to upgrade the internals of my application. So I was previously compiling my code using .NET Framework 4.8, which according to Microsoft is no longer supported. It's end of life. And therefore I was forced to upgrade to .NET Core 3.1. All right. Now, that probably doesn't mean anything to you, and I don't blame you. However, what that does mean is that Launchbox and BigBox are actually built using .NET Core 3.1. So after 2 attempts of upgrading my application to make it run under .core, I'm now able to successfully utilize the controls or the DLLs or the features, let's say, that BigBox can provide. My application and their components can now talk to each other. All right, so that was quite the milestone just to get that far. Now, after going through various runtime errors and whatnot, and I got those all corrected, there was one that I could not correct, and I was utilizing a color picker or color dialog from Windows that we were using for selecting a color and adjusting the color properties and whatnot that you can use for foreground, background effect, and ultimately build your gradients. Well, I couldn't call that anymore. I mean, I could, but I didn't want all the legacy Windows stuff being brought with it. So I thought, you know what, this is a good opportunity to come up with my own and build it from scratch and do it right. And in doing so, fix the gradient editor as well, because that was kind of a little bit on the atrocious side, and it was built in a hurry, in my defense. But anyway, so in order for me to work, long story short, in order for me to work on the new exciting thing, I had to upgrade the internals. That meant one thing wasn't working. That meant I had to rewrite that thing from scratch, and I got it working and completed and integrated into my upgraded application late last night. And so what does this mean? Well, first of all, upgrading to .NET Core 3.1, visually you may notice faster improvement in updating windows and moving stuff around, and so there's a performance boost. Okay, I haven't noticed it personally. I'm sure I probably did the very first time I ran my application after the conversion, but as I'm launching my application 1 trillion times a day as I'm testing, I don't notice it now. But apparently one person did notice that right out of the gate when I gave him this new build just to make sure it was working on their computer. And that was one of the comments they came out with, that it does run faster. All right, so enough of all that. We're going to launch the latest build of the theme creator. Let's see, can I launch it from here? Do I have to launch it from here? I can't open anything now. Why is that? There you go. Windows being special. All right, let me just close this folder. All right, so I finally got the application open. Yeah, Windows was being a bit naughty. So let's see, I'm on version 1094. And again, visually, you're not really going to notice too much with the application running under Core 3.1. But let's go into this and have a look at the fruits of my labor for the past 6 days. All right. So, like I said, anything with color, anything that's color related, you would have a color dialog window that would pop up. And in the build on the forum, you would essentially see the left-hand side. And from here, you would left click and it would come up with the typical Windows color dialog, and then right click would allow you to select from web colors. All right. Well, obviously that wasn't very intuitive in itself. And now we're down to one window. It doesn't spawn any other windows or anything like that. You can do everything from here. So from here, you can pick your web color, and you can clearly see what the colors look like, and obviously the descriptive text alongside them. So for example, if I pick royal blue, picks royal blue, and I have a solid color, so obviously it's solid royal blue. Over here you have various levels of royal blue, going all the way to white and all the way down to black. So I can just simply click on the reticle here and drag it around, and you know, it's adjusting it nicely. I'll leave it up here. And then you can alter the transparency level or the alpha channel here. You can plug in your own RGB values, or if you have you know, a hex value out there already. If you know, some people use a color picker and they can pick and choose colors from, you know, various sources, and it will bring back the hex code. Well, obviously you can paste it in here, no problem. There were a couple of hoops I had to jump through. So for example, if I put an X in here and press enter, value is invalid. I press OK. Whoops. I press OK. I don't want to press OK. Let's try that again. It's probably an oversight on my... Yeah, whoops, little glitch. It's supposed to say it's invalid, and then it reverts back to the original value, so you don't lose that setting. Anyway, I'll fix that after this video. But you know, you have your color scale on the right, obviously in addition to the web colors, so you can pick something that's close to what you're looking for, and then obviously you can adjust your you know, color variation over here. Okay. Going from solid into linear gradient, excuse me, it will use the solid color as its endpoint and defaults to white with its starting point. Now, you may notice that there's only 2 gradient points here now, as opposed to the fixed 4 that you're used to seeing. That's because minimum for a gradient now is 2, and you can have up to 20. And that's not a limitation, that's just a limit that I've imposed. I figured 20 gradient points would be plenty, but in the future, if anyone comes back to me and say, hey, you know, I need 21, then I can just simply go in and change that that limit accordingly. All right. So what you can do is, if I just click in this space here, it will add a new gradient point, and that gradient point has just inherited the color in that area that I clicked on. So for example, if I click here, you can see it's a slightly darker yellow. The other thing to note here is that for every gradient point that you select, they now blink. So you can clearly see which one is currently selected. Not only that, it will be the only one with a percentage, position percentage underneath it. So it's very easy to see which one is the active point. All right. So I'm going to move that over here. I just right click on the point and remove it. It's really that simple. I click this point here. And dealing with all these gradient points in the build on the forum was kind of a tricky thing. It was kind of sticky to move left and right. And if you just click on it once, it would inadvertently kind of move it, you know, a fraction of a pixel. You don't have to worry about that anymore. As soon as you click it, it's not going anywhere until you actually start dragging it around. Okay. So again, you know, it's really that easy. You can just, you know, like I said, you can just pick a web color, for example, if you want, and then change the tone of that color. Okay, so that's a 3-point gradient. And then I've added radial gradients as well. All right. I figured I might as well, I'm in there. And you know, it looks very familiar to what you're currently seeing on the forum build. Yeah, it's just that I've added, you know, it's just a lot easier to use. I think it's a lot more intuitive, you know, as to what you're doing, and only that, you're not spawning another window to do this and that, and you hit OK and it returns the color, and then you can do stuff, you know, you can do it all in one panel now. All right. So yeah, I think you guys are going to be very, very, very happy with this. But yeah, that's it. Again, I can't really talk about what I have planned. Hopefully, now that I've got the code to where I want it, I need it to be, I can actually start doing the research into this next new, hopefully doable thing. But in the meantime, you know, this is you know, this is something that you're going to use, you know, fairly regularly. So you know, there's some benefits here. Like I said, it's a lot easier to use, it's faster, it's more intuitive, it's not so glitchy, it's a lot more powerful than before, and you know, I see some opportunities to enhance, you know, the gradient side of things, and I've restructured how the gradient data is stored in your projects now. So in doing so with this build, that will allow me to extend gradient functionality in the future if I need to. Okay, but baby steps. I just wanted to work on this. It wasn't something I planned to do at this point in time, but clearly it needed to be done, and I'm happy that I did it. All right, so that is pretty much it from a visual perspective. I had made some other changes. If I read my notes here, let's see. Yeah, so why don't I do that? Let's come out of here. Let's go into this one. And just little changes. So as I was putting this intro logo together, I couldn't really do it the way I wanted it to be done because I had a restriction on scaling. Let's see, that's location. I'm trying to think. I think it was this one. Crowd. Yeah. So scaling in the current build, the one that's on the forum, had an upper limit of 9,999% scale. Okay, well, I've added another digit to that. All right, so 99,999 is the upper scale percentage that you can now go to. All right, so that was just one little tweak that was relatively easy. And then let's see, and just in the code generation, yeah, I might be able to do it on here. So I guess if I publish, we can have a look at the code real quick. Themes, and then it was 12, I think. Maybe it was 13. All right, 1106. Yeah, this one. I noticed there was an awful lot of white space. You know, there were several white lines kind of after the primary UI element here. There was a lot of white space, so I've cleaned up the code generation a little bit just to remove quite a bit of white space. I mean, I've still got some work to be done, for example, you know, here and here, but it was worse than that. So I've done a little bit of cleanup. It doesn't look too shabby. But yeah, those are the little tweaks that I've made, in addition to obviously converting the whole bloody thing up to Core 3.1, which was not an easy exercise, and there was no real documentation out there as to the best way of doing it. So it took me 2 attempts, but as you can see, it runs, and it's good. It's working very, very nice. All right, so that is it. That is my progress update. Like I said, I plan to actually start looking into this new thing. In theory, it should work, and that may take me may take me a few weeks to get that together. But yeah, watch this space. If I can truly pull this off, then you know, I'll try and get a video out as quickly as possible, even if it's just in its near readiness state. Okay, but until then, take care, everybody. Feel free, if you want to leave me any kind of comments regarding you know, the color dialog, or you know, the gradient builder or whatnot. You know, like I said, this is something that I was kind of forced into reworking over the past 6 days, and that's pretty much all I've worked on since Sunday. So yeah, let me know what you think. But anyway, I'm rambling. I need another coffee. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in a few weeks. Okay, bye.